It's May 10 yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, yesterday or the day before. I had this dream, and I was working for a guy that he was proposing me a job. And this guy, I worked just a little bit before leaving Toronto, and probably a bit of getting sick. I hope it's not gonna happen again. This guy, I think his name was Chris. He owns an axe throwing place, the major one, I think downtown, whatever. It's not important. He just moved, and he's a builder. So he's telling me about building condos, not building, but for me to paint as a painter, condos. I should call him, maybe he's doing that too. But it was a new condos, and there's has units to paint. So I'm telling him, and I pictured this one, several layers. I'm saying, okay, I can do a quarter. And I'm talking to him on my right. I said, or if I go on Kijiji, find a couple guys, I can do half. And he doesn't want it. So he's like, I said, okay, I'll do it alone. And that was like almost doing it alone half. But I'm like, I'm just gonna start, and whatever it's gonna happen. So I said, okay, I'll do it half. And then, but I said, I don't know if I said I'm gonna need some cash, as we go along, or I said it after what just happened. Is that I see after this, I think it was a woman, I'm not too sure, and she was doing the tour for some people. There was no walls, but she's telling that these condos inside, like in that warehouse, it looked to me, but when it's just the outside and they start to build inside or something, she says, and this has some significance in space here again, and she's telling it's gonna be ready in 2022, and I see 2022 flash in gold stuff. It's flashing yellow, 2022, and after this, I think it's after this. Yeah, man, I'm mistaken. After this, I'm going. Okay, let's restart the whole thing. I'm drawing on a table a little square in color. Right? It's the whole dream is black and white maybe, but that stuff is in color. A dream can be black and white, but you don't really know. So I'm drawing this, and as I draw it after, it starts to get flu. So my eyes are going down, and I'm saying I cannot continue unless I get money, sort of stuff. And that's when I see Chris, and I say, listen, I can do a quarter of it, or if I get some guys, half, stuff like this. And he's like, no. I say, okay, I'll do it alone. I'm gonna need some money. So that's probably before 2 weeks, or I'm gonna need some money, as guys talk. Then the woman does the tour, 2022, and after this, the boss comes, or I tell him, hey, I'm gonna need some money. The boss comes, and I know he's the boss, and Chris was walking away from me, and I tell him, listen, I said, I'm gonna need some money. And then he's walking away, and the boss comes. So I call him back, he returns. This is important, it's about planets and stuff, and I'm gonna figure out in a couple days. But to the people who study it, it's like the other dreams I had. Population first of asteroid Centaur in Montreal. I said it's like the theater and the place, and I said some degrees after that, 1771 minus, and then another day 37, and especially the one hiding behind another one I was hiding, that's 2 stars. And I said over there was black, and she's showing great patience, hiding behind such against such gigantic advance force. And they started to study those two stars, and they saw the closest black hole. And that dream I also said that I heard they haven't seen it yet. So I didn't know if it was a steroid or, but anybody that studied the black holes knows that that's what it has, a gigantic force. So, and because it's eating. So anyway, so to go back to this dream, the boss goes up the ladder, and I wanted to ask him money, but not in front of people. And the boss had somebody on his left, and he has short hair. He kind of looked like after that the general I saw, Flynn, that got released from trouble. So he's going up the ladder, but not too high, just a meter above my head, so to speak. And I don't even know what is holding on. Probably nothing, like in the space. He goes there, and I don't see where he plunges his big spoon, like in a soup. He's plunging it, takes a little bowl, he gives it to the guy on the left. See, this has to do with black holes. After 2 days, I'm thinking how it's acting. And he's looking at me, and me, if I'm a star, there's Chris on my right. And Chris followed me because I want to ask the guy money, but I don't really in front of people. And he's telling me, do you want to, did I said something before? I don't think so. And I had this feeling, in an automobile CEO, you don't really talk to him, you don't ask money in front of people. So he's asking me, do you want a soup? And I said, at that point, I felt like the soup was black tar, not tar, but black. And because of that, I felt disgusted a little bit, and I said, no, see, this is the black holes. But after this, whatever he give the guy on the left, he gives to me. Or just after that, he gives to me. And me, despite I said no, he gives it to me, so I give it to Chris. I don't really want it. And I give it to Chris because I told myself, when he goes back and eat in the table, we or Chris can put his half, even if Chris doesn't want, in his own bowl, the boss. So people who eats around won't tell him, look at him, he gets double portion, and we get half. Because he seemed to have liked it. So I give it to Chris for that. And then what happened is that he goes off the ladder, and he goes off the ladder counterwise. That really shocked me. So you see this black hole, if it separates on the left from a little one, and on the right, because they don't know really how it acts. And they might know it only in 2022. On the right, I'm trying to help out here, but again, no more freebies, man. This is the last one, just like in the dream, because I gotta eat for my eyes, and this is bullshit. I'm sleeping outside. Look at this fucking thing, man. Yes, so I'm going there, and he goes out the ladder counterwise. And that's strange, because if I'm on the right and he comes here after, he can't go backwards and just comes here, but he goes counterwise. Instead of going like this, he goes and he comes. and then he says, where's the soup? And the way he wanted it now for himself, I said, well, I thought you had one. See, he gave it to me to hold on. Now I realize, not because I said no, he still give it to me. But to this day, even 2 days later, that's why sometimes I share before, because God wants me to share. It looks like he doesn't open my eyes before. He really wants me to get poor, and I don't want to be poor. And but I heard don't say it now, because he allows me to not be poor. But unless one fucking idiot don't believe in the past of lies and whatever it is, because he tried to give me this summer with guitar, a lot of songs. It would have been easy, but I put it pawn shop, and it's still there. Now my face is gone. I was born artist. It's different than painting I was, but come on, man. But I'll get the place again. This was a mistake, man. Fucking too cold first time, and I thought I grew up and I'm tough, but fuck, man. That's fucked, man. In the winter, I wasn't at that. Anyways, so he comes here and he gives me. And when I looked at it, I said, why did you give it away? I said, and then I thought, to tell him, well, I thought for Chris, he will put you in your bowl, little bowl, and you'll have double. But before I answer, he said, I give it to you. And you see, before I share with Christians online, Chris, the new black hole, and maybe God, the big boss, is telling me, or the spirit, whatever you think it's the bad or God. For me, it's God, the spirit of holy gift, though I don't detract it. You know, Einstein went to heaven. It depends. There's good and bad artists, there's good and bad in everything, man. It depends if you're trying to help, if you have goodwill or not. I won't say in everything, you know. Some jobs are bad, but sometimes people get into those jobs, for example, prostitute, before they know it. They grew up, nobody showed them the church. They grew up, the parents sold her, and God is calling her. God might forgive her if she doesn't know, you understand? And eventually she gets called. But, or if she dies murder, she might not go to hell, you understand? But here we go. And when he won it, yeah, why did I give it away? I looked at Chris, and that's strange because Chris had it like this on his left hand, a little bowl, and I had to go and look like this, flinch a little bit, and that's very see, God goes always straight. One time I was in the woods with in a beach, and I had to cross the river and go like this to my spot, because the way I was climbing here, it's possible, and here was tough. But he told me go straight, and I would have had to arrange, and I never did. And even after a couple of weeks or a month, I'm like, this is a loss of time for nothing. You see, God is very straight. Just like when you walk for God, you gotta go straight. Then he's telling me, and when I looked at him, that always feels strange. You see, even eagles, the great symbol of vision, is I heard that eagles look with their head turned. They're not sneaky and look and who's smarter than who and try to spy and look sideways or whatever it is, you know, like a snake. No. God is, he tells you. He doesn't hide. He tells you who he is. The reason why you don't see it is because you're sinning, and at least you sit in front of him and you have to die. Just like the scripture says, who sees God dies. So I looked, and I don't know if he give it away. And then he said, the boss says, well, maybe that's for me or something. He says, well, I wish I go. And then he started to walk like this. He said, I wish I go 3 times a week to samurai courses. And I heard, you should go 5 or 6 times a week. Or I told him, you should go 5 or 6 times a week. And then I woke up. And I don't know, you see, black hole was above. And who was he? Who was the guy on his left? The little black hole gave another black hole. It's almost if he egged another black hole, so to speak. A little ball in that big chaldron or big black hole. There's a bottom to this, because just like a soup will have a bottom, but I didn't really see it anyways. So it gives a little bit, he twists, he turns. This is attraction stuff, you know, with the black hole counterwise and the planet maybe repulsing against. And he went counterclockwise and he came, but then he did the round and he wanted back what he gave it to me. See, give me one portion. Fucking pieces of shit, man. See, that's rap, rapist music, command by the spirit of rapists and ape. They took that and they do those gestures and they want us to steal you when they do video clips, you know. It's not only acting like a rape, they want to steal. When they do this, they take fucking pieces of shit. I heard to say no, and I apologize to do it to you. May all goes back to you, and I understand if you were repulsed by this. Now, bottom line of this is I have to stay there because I'm uploading a movie as a quick connection, and that store, and just passing there. So this is important. I'm sorry if it's long. I'm outside, man, and everything. So And remember what I said, no more at the beginning, no more whatever I'm gonna do. I need some money. And also one thing I said, I need money after the 2022. I said, hey Chris is walking away. I said, I'm gonna need money. I said, maybe I have 2, 3, maybe 400. And he said, don't say 4. And I thought after a day to not say what's the dream. I say, if I ask for donation, don't say for what. It might be everything. If so, I always don't want to interpret dream. First of all, because you have to pray for God. Interpretation belongs to God. I start to realize not only if you're holy, but you gotta pray, because look, if the dream belongs to God, so the interpretation. You get the dream, I thought I can be not outsmarting God, but I can be smart by myself and just go and not ask God. There is some truth. It was working more, and every time I was doing and sharing a dream I might, but always I say 5% can be very destructive, not for the reputation, but can mean simply another thing. So even me, when I see other videos, oh, here we go, interpret, and it's longer for nothing, and it's usually they miss something that even me, I know more, but even me, I have to pray. Imagine that. So anyways, and the samurai, remember I said the samurai Miyamoto, when I saw the vision of Elon Musk, I say it might be the Antichrist, because the Antichrist was shown to me like this, no blemish, his eyes like this. I said maybe it's him, like the satellite and hair like this backwards. Whatever you might think, I didn't say Kim Jong-un, but I pray for him. Now he might be dead or not, hiding. It might be anybody else, with the fire up the sky. I said it might be Elon Musk, and I put it, but then I saw Elon Musk on a bike putting 2 masks and going through a door like Batman. And I say, look, he's going and hiding, might try to get to the travel through time. And maybe these black holes, samurai, and then Miyamoto was the greatest samurai, most legendary alive in Japan. 3 course, but you should 5 or 6 per week. This might be what they doing with the black hole studying. I don't know, man. Can be everything. Don't say 4 might be, just World War II, World War III, money. After that, don't say 4. It ain't gonna be a World War IV. Might be something else that now I don't know, but somebody else study it knows, and I heard that's it. So for space I want $500, not 4. And that's not even a 5 cents change. I was about to say, and I knocked something. Probably not. So you guys told me that's nothing, or we're gonna break the ice like this. If not, I hope never I'm gonna have something else about helping this. See, I said I can do half alone. That means half you. Hi, it's Emilian here, and I'll redo this video because I lost my temper in the subway earlier today. It's May 9, and I missed one. 1:56, May 9, 2020. So I had a dream last night, and the dream was okay. I left. So the dream was it's impossible to do this next to people. It's like being violated. The dream was it's a peeping Tom. The dream was in a sort of a warehouse. Okay, like I mentioned before, and I don't know if I'm gonna publish the first one because I lost my temper when people don't leave you doing a movie and they make noise. They want to be in it, so I start swearing. And I start swearing. I said because family kind of, they don't know how to live with members of family in peace. So I'm sick and tired of this, and brought at 5 years older, took the house, and then they just play, and you're the youngest, and they just to feel some power, they kick somebody out, but for no reason. So they couldn't even now say out because you're good, but tell to somebody else that I can have enough. Probably wanted to jerk in the room, and since I'm religious, he can. Fucking piece of crap. He doesn't even have a girlfriend. I don't know why. Since he doesn't want to be a religion, or he was not sick, which I had two, and worst case artist, which I had all three. But artist is just for time, right? Now it is what it is. That's why I'm not the guy on medication. Final point: I'm in this warehouse, and a guy that I work, builder in the house. He he was the boss, but not the big boss. But he was the boss, and he tells me that he has those condos to do. It starts like this, like let's say a new building, and it's all condos units. So it by piecework, so not hourly. So making about maybe 600 a day up to the way I was working anyway. So I go there and he talks to me, and I'm like, okay. And I picture out a big building, but inside I picture myself. And I tell him that I can do a quarter. No. Well, it starts. Let me restart this bullshit. It starts that I'm doing a little drawing, like a square or Pythagorean again, which I was talking about NASA. So I'm doing this, but it starts to be blurry. So my vision is not there. Maybe food or money situation. So which happened in my life, but also in the last video I used the FX for first time, and I did a little blurry when they're gonna do the like I had the vision of a dream of what do you call this, the vaccination force, and if you wipe it you put it on your nose, and I did because it goes straight in the head. I was trying to not downplay it, I don't know, with the swearing, just making it funny for the bad guys, but it's still serious. So I did this last night. It's gonna be published anytime soon. I'm gonna publish all 4 movies, and to get to the point, I see blurry like this. So God is telling me, after this, let's talk about this one and publish that one specially, because I wasn't sure which one I want to publish. So this guy goes for the ones who are still here, and I'm gonna tell you it's gonna be, I cannot say what. And he comes here, and I gotta restart this, Lord. Oh, she left. Was there since the beginning? No. Chris is telling me I have this thing, and I go, and there's he's telling me it's gonna. I say I can do 1/4 of it, or I don't know at which point it switch. Like there's 2 scenes. I don't know which one is the first. I'm telling him I can do 1/4. Or I know some people I can go on Kijiji and find, and I can do and supervise, but I can do I didn't say supervise, I say I can do half. And he says so I say okay, I'll do it alone, because you never know, you pick up, sometimes it's low at the quality. So I say okay, I'll do it alone. At this point I'm saying this, but I don't really believe I can do half alone, but I say this. Just like people like this in business construction, they might promise, and then that's why they're always behind, even if they're good, but it's not really their fault. Sometimes other people are not good. But at this point, that's the scene. I don't know if it was just before or after. There's a tour by somebody, and it's showing the inside, and I looked on my left and showing and said to those like future buyer, possible buyer, next to it, and they looked around. Nothing is really there, but they say it's gonna be ready by 2022, and the 2022 is Flash. And then I'm like, after this, I see Chris going away from me, this builder that I worked, and I go. It was fair, paying fair. He had a business, axe throwing in Toronto, so I go there. And he had to move company after that. He said there's a lot of money to be done after I did the house, and but I got sick by calling somebody that I didn't do business, and God said that's it, that's the past. And I called one time this guy. I was not religious, I was on that my day break, worked for like 6 months, and there was always smoking weed and the joint, and never told this fucking stupid guys, sorry to swear, leave my best painter alone, because they were not leave the painter alone. They were helpers, and they were all living in a trio and all bullshitting with Afghan bullshit. But anyways, it was a modern Afghan, so-called. But I call him back. I say, let's be friends. I forgive you. And he says, okay, I'll call you. I didn't need that. 10 grand. And I went a 7 days straight on 7. Never work on 7. And if you curse somebody, never go. I curse him. He lost the job. He lost his health. He lost everything. Because he downplayed me. And then he's like, talk to me bad. I remember first I cursed a snake. He had a snake. And he's like, haha, on text. And I still talked to him one time. And at that time, 2 rats eat the snake within a week. They chew him up. And I had this power, man. Another guy too, he was messing with my ex, and I communicate to the dogs, and the one dog, well, I didn't communicate to the dogs, but I put a curse in, and one dog got bit. Unfortunately, it was the good one who got bit, and he all had his eyes, they were trying to, I think, screw the mother. She was the only one, the half pit bulls, and he had the thing and abandoned when I went, and he looked at me, and the mother was like this because he was friendly, and poor guy, he was the good one that got chewed, but I think he started to be good, get feed more. Usually if the good heart gets feed more, they're champions. Now this guy, I made friend again, and then no more, make money, piece work another guy, call him, I start to have money, just stupidly, friendship. But I heard that's the past. I call him, and that curse, when you curse a guy, never fucking go back. The guy gives me in the basement and a fan that you cannot take in a storage room. Holy fuck, I got sick. I felt like there was warm going, and I couldn't sleep, couldn't wash my nose, was itchy. Oh, but for 6 months I didn't eat. I had things, I started to study things online, like the monster in me, it's a bacteria and stuff. It's 2017. I heard I had a worm in my head in a dream. I order everything online to kill those parasites, natural and also things. And I did beat it. I drink fucking cayenne shit, the whole thing, vinegar, especially the apple cider vinegar, daily, garlic. Oh man. No meat, no sugar, was intense, was fucked. And then I heard I beat it. But man, it could go through that fucking thing, through the lungs. And I think in that French restaurant there was escargot and maybe rats in the night. They clean it. The fucking guy calls me to clean that. I put 3 coats of it in less than 2-3 hours, 4 hours. I even said let's do 1 coat each, but then I'm like, okay, I'll prove it in and out. After I even did the floor in 20 minutes, the whole fucking floor epoxy. He gave me money, I even give him 40 back. I say, no, I did it fast. But then on my way home, I didn't stop to wash my nose. By the way I'm going home, holy fuck, it was over, man. It's crazy. I studied it. I had to say again to the doctor what it was. They did a stool test, nothing, but I beat it. And my hat to the Jewish for one time, at least in there, they can study if you need to study your stool. No, but in the hospital, because kind of preventive in case you're Jewish. But no, I'm joking here, but I'm Jewish. But listen, the wild part and the good side. Remember that scene? The good fellow. So this dream, I gotta restart this again. Fucking third time. This dream yesterday, I work for a guy, and then this guy says to me, "So I can do a quarter." I say if I call some guys, a couple guys, I can do half, and he doesn't want. Say okay, I'll do it alone. And then there's the tour. It's gonna be ready by 2022, and this is flashing. And after this what? After this, Chris is walking away, and I go and I say, listen, now I see almost the pressure. I said, listen, I can do it, but I need money, while it's going, because otherwise you can't. You spend energy and you can't. He's working and not getting paid. And I said, you know, I need money, because let's say if it was pain in whatever weeks, I didn't have this in the vision, but usually it's, let's say it's 2 weeks or a unit and nothing was there, not even the walls or something. I don't know, but that doesn't count. But I said I have 2, 300, 4, and he says don't say 4. And then after this, I'm thinking, okay, so they maybe for donation online this video, so I won't say 4 because people will be let's see, he has more. So I took it as this. But anyways, and then after this, the boss comes. And fuck you, you my own big man. And then the boss comes, and I feel this boss, you can't really bother him. He has short hair, like those type of CEO automobiles. And he comes, he has a dog or his vice on his left. And he comes, and he goes up a little ladder, just like this, you know, it's a ladder, and it's not much higher than if I put my hand a bit upper, and I have Chris on my right, and he goes on his left, and it's like taking a soup with a spoon. He said, you want one? And I said, no, I feel disgusted by it. And then I felt like he gave just before one to Chris, and I felt like he was telling him to hold it or maybe serve him. I didn't know that. But then he asked me, I said, no, he still gives me. So I give it to Chris. I said to myself, you know, in case he goes back and eat on the chair in front of everybody, he can have 2 portions, and people, since he owned the place, wouldn't be like, oh, look how much he eats, you know. So he goes down, but he goes down that side, he comes back, and that's strange because he turned on his left and made the like almost a circle instead of just going down the ladder backwards and coming this direction, you know, like he did the run, and he is on the ladder, comes here, and me, he says, you have it? I said, no. I said, I give it to him. I said, why did you give it? So I'm telling, I thought you didn't, you had one. And he says, no. And he says, why did you give it? And you know, I'm thinking, oh, so I don't know if I told him or he knew already, so I can, or he didn't let me time to say, so I can pour my half in yours and you can eat more. And I guess he give one to his guy, his second right hand man. And then after this, he tells me, he says, oh, I wish I go 3 times to the samurai course. And I heard, oh, you should go, or I don't know if I told him or somebody or me. So it says you should go 5 or 6 times per week. So I forgot to mention this last part. I'm redoing it, and that was it for today, May 9th. Dream from the Spirit, from God. And I know bouche cousue, that means closed mouth.